In 1975, the United States Speedway National Championship was held at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, Los Angeles, California. Back in 1934, that event was still held at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. And today we're going to talk more about that old-fashioned, the old day National Championship. It was an AMA-sanctioned event. It was held 3 days. The first 2 days were qualifiers to see who would advance for the top 16 riders in the field, and all the California riders advanced, and there was riders from New York and Texas, a couple of riders from each of those states. And then the third day was the final. They had the national championship on the third day. The first 2 days were qualifiers, and all the California guys made the national championship on the third day, and they competed to see who was going to be United States Speedway National Champion. The racing was fast during the qualifier. The 2-day event, it was fierce. It was ferocious. Those guys were going for it. It was all out. It was full bore for those 2 days of qualifying. However, the old master, one of the greatest speedway riders in United States history, and that's Sprouselder. He got injured during the qualifier, I believe. And also the future world champion, that's Jack Milne, he got injured too. So you had two of the great stars. They were riding a little bit handicapped, but they were still riding, and they were injured. Heading into the final round of the finals, they had Lamy Lamorant and they had Cordy Milne. They were tied in points. Now, the points were accumulated in the first two qualifying rounds that carried over to the championship rounds. And also the championship rounds had the points associated with it also. However, the two riders, Lamorant and Milne, they both were tied, and they were going into the final race together, and they were tied in points. And the winner of that race would be crowned the United States Speedway champion. However, Lamorant was the defending United States Speedway champion, and Cordy Milne was vying for his first United States Speedway Championship. The large crowd at the Memorial Coliseum was cheering for their favorite rider. I don't know if it was Lamy, I don't know if it was Cordy, but the people were going crazy. It was an exciting event, it was winner take all. It was very exciting. And the tapes went up, and Cordy, he took a slight lead over Lamy, and he continued. And Lamy was trying to pass him, and Cordy just kept the gas on. They were both fast riders. Lamy and Cordy were just sensational speedway riders. And Cordy just kept that gas on, and he held Lamy back for the entire 4 laps. And at the end of the race, Cordy Milne was crowned his first United States Speedway Championship at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. The crowd went crazy, and Cordy was finally a United States Speedway champion. The final standings of the 1934 United States Speedway Championship was as follows. Cordy Milne was the United States Speedway champion. Lamy Lamorant was number 2, podium, the runner-up spot, and he was the defending champion in 33. And Bird McKinley, I don't know much about Bird, but he placed 3rd on the podium that night. However, the controversy didn't stop there. This is one of the first United States Speedway Championships that I heard of that was controversial, because Lamy went ahead and his team, they went ahead and inspected Cordy's bike. They're like, something's wrong with that bike because we should have won that champion. Lamy was a fierce competitor. He was the defending champion. He didn't want to lose that race. He was really pissed off. Cordy and Lamy were friends with Jack. They were all kind of like a threesome hanging out in Pasadena. Jack and Lamy, they went ahead and watched Cordy race his first speedway race. And Lamy and Jack said, let's try this speedway thing out. So Cordy was the first rider in that threesome. And they were supposed to be kind of friends. But Lamy was no friend when it came to losing his United States Speedway Championship. They went ahead and measured Cordy's frame, and it was a shorty. They called it like a magical bike or something like that. And it was shorter than the standard AMA regulation of 54 inches, the frame. And Lammy went ahead and made a big protest. He went up to the AMA president and said, I protest this national championship. Why? Because Cordy's a cheater. He's a cheater. He went ahead and he raced with an illegal frame, a shorter frame that gave him an advantage. And that is the reason why Cordy Milne won the national championship in 1934. Lammy Lamoureux was mad. He was totally pissed off. He went into the office of Hapaliza and he told the AMA president, like, hey, this Speedway National Championship was not fair. I got cheated. I'm the defending United States Speedway champion. And Cordy Milne cheated because he had a shorter frame. And I demand a rematch of that championship. I demand you do something about this because I do not agree what Cordy Milne had done. And Hapaliza, he went ahead and thought about it for a second. And he went over to Cordy and said, Cordy, we have a problem. Lammy's disputing your championship. And I'm going to have to make a decision, a ruling on this. And I'm going to rule that you're going to have to do a rematch of the final championship race with Lammy, or we're going to have to ban you from the AMA for life. So you have a choice to make, Cordy. Race Lammy for that national championship over again, and don't use that short frame bike, or you're going to be banned from the AMA for life. So Cordy went ahead and said, no problem. I'll go ahead and race Lammy again. So they had another event. They actually put that in some like a normal sort of race night. And then at the end of the race night, they had a 2-lap match race for that 1934 United States Speedway Championship. So Cordy was kind of mad, and he went ahead and he won the scratch main event that night. He ruled and rocked. And then it came to that 2-lap match race championship with Lammy. And he went ahead and he took Lammy down. He beat Lammy in that 2-lap match championship, that extra one. So Cordy won 2 United States Speedway Championships that year in 34. And Cordy turned to Lammy and said, I'd beat you with any bike. I'm better than you, dude. And Lammy was just red-faced. He was pissed because he couldn't beat Cordy with that short frame, and he couldn't beat Cordy with that regular size Jawa, with that JAP Speedway frame. That's how the 1934 United States Speedway Championship ended. And Cordy was the ruler. He won that championship, and he won also the following year, the 35 Speedway National Championship. So Cordy Milne was back-to-back United States Speedway champions. And he was a great rider, you know. He was a good little rider. He was fast. He'd open that throttle wide open. And I wonder, after that controversy, after that heated exchange with Lammy, I wonder if him and Lammy were friends after that, because they kind of were grown up together. Cordy went ahead and introduced the Speedway to Jack and Lammy. And I wonder if that situation damaged that relationship in any way, because both those guys, you know, all those guys were fierce competitors. They didn't want to lose. And Cordy Milne just went ahead and showed everybody. He showed the world that he was number one.